All right, check this out. Last time we did React Court, we realized that every single post was horrible. They were all creative writing exercises, and every single one is like, first paragraph, I'm the asshole. Second paragraph, oh my God, am I the asshole? Third paragraph, horrible medical or psychological trauma that completely justifies the insane actions that they took in the first two paragraphs, and you don't even feel good reading it because you're like, I feel bad and this is fake. So now I'm on the real Am I the Asshole subreddit. I'm not on the filtered one, which is like the best writing prompts that 11th graders made when they should have been doing their calculus homework. Unfortunately, calculus is no longer look, we're not going to get into that. We could talk about the education system later. Now we're on Am I the Asshole, and I'm sorting by asshole. Like top this week only with the asshole flair. Because if you're not the asshole, I don't really care. I've realized. Also, I realized that the Am I the Asshole subreddit is designed badly. And I don't mean that to be rude, but it's not designed for what I want. Because when you sort by like top posts, the top posts are the people who are not the asshole because they get more upvotes because people are like sympathetic. The people who are the assholes get downvoted to oblivion because they're assholes. And as a result, they don't get sorted to the top. That's not what I want to see on this subreddit. The top posts are all like, am I the asshole for, my husband, 67M, and me, 19F, he yelled at me at dinner and called me a racial slur. And then that's like 50,000 upvotes. You don't need that. I know who the asshole is there. You can't get any kind of, banter there. You need something like this. I'm sorting by spicy. I don't like sorting by controversial, though, because, like, controversial, my limited experience with sorting by controversial on Reddit is that you just get the highly downvoted comments to the top, which usually ends up giving you, like, horrible stuff. Like, people who are, like, just constantly talking about vaccine mandates, downvoted to, like, minus 70, even though the post has nothing to do with vaccines in the first place. So, like, I'd rather those comments stay near the bottom, if possible. I love those people. That's fine. Me too, in like a human, we're all in this same boat together sort of way. Like in a love your fellow man sort of way. Absolutely. Anyway, this first one, I mean, we sorted by spicy. Take a look. We found our unique spicy formula. Am I the asshole for making my daughter give up her dog? That's a pretty spicy title. Throw away because a few of my family members browse Reddit and I would rather the situation stay contained. My M45 daughter, F16, has a dog she bought a couple months ago. Her mother and I said she could get one as long as she took care of him, paid for everything he needed, and spent time with him. Okay, like, this is already, like, I don't want to say is not okay. His daughter's a fighter pilot, a fighter jet. His daughter's a damn F-16 Hornet. I don't know if it's a Hornet. All I know is the SR-71 is the Blackbird. I feel like, and maybe this is like perfect world situation, okay? I feel like you can get like your 8-year-old or your 10-year-old or your 12-year-old a dog. When you're buying your 16-year-old or you're allowing your 16-year-old daughter to get a dog, that's your dog. There's a lot of upheaval in a young person's life from 16 to like 25. You're moving a lot. You might go to college. You might spend a year abroad. Like you might spend 10 years abroad. So like that's your pet. This already is like, I'm not saying the dad should have disallowed it. I'm simply saying he should at least recognize that, like, in forward-looking context, it's his dog, which is fine. Isn't that the way it always works? As a grumpy guy, maybe played by a Jack Nicholson type, I hate dogs, I hate dogs. Then all of a sudden he gets saddled with a dog. Maybe it's a dog of someone played by maybe Greg Kinnear or something like that. And then he's like, oh, I'm so grumpy, I hate this animal. But then he bonds with the animal and he's like, actually, I love dogs. Like, that's the way it's supposed to go. Anyway, she held up her end of the bargain for a while. Everything was working out the way it was supposed to. She potty trained him, took him on plenty of walks, paid for his vet bills and food, the whole 9 yards. Also, that's the other thing. Dogs kind of expensive. I mean, pets are expensive in general. It seems unrealistic to ask your 16-year-old to pay for every expense for the dog. Like, not just apparently purchasing the dog in the first place, but then also the vet bills and like the food and the like. You could have like a part-time job just to pay for the dog, especially the vet. No wonder she doesn't have time for the dog. She's driving for Uber Eats, man. She works 20. Oh, there you go. Okay. However, after a couple of months, she got busier at school and work. She's a sophomore in high school and works part-time at a fast food chain. She works 25 to 30 hours a week and spends at least 2 hours on homework every night. Holy cow, man. I gotta be honest, this girl's busier than I am. That's almost a full work week, plus school, plus 2 hours of homework a night. My God. She's busy. Even though her dog never went in the house and seemed okay, I felt bad for him since she wasn't home as much as she used to be. Unfortunately, there's absolutely nothing that you could do to rectify the situation. I talked to her at first, telling her that he needed more attention. The dad is 45. I get he's probably busy. He's a busy time in a person's life. I do love that he sees a sad dog and is like, well, there's absolutely nothing I could do to rectify this situation. 15-minute walk, play with the dog a little bit. No, it's not my dog. It's my house, my rules. We signed the contract. It's like my 16-year-old doesn't know anything about tort law. I've raised countless dogs in my life, and I know what is needed for a healthy, obedient dog. I'm just unwilling to even put in the slightest effort for that right now. I was also worried she wouldn't be his alpha, which is absolutely necessary if she expected to take him with her when she moved out. I don't know what that means. Can a dog-pilled pet cell explain to me what your dog being someone's alpha is? It's a myth? Yeah, but what's the myth? It's an old-fashioned thing. I know what an alpha dog is. I've seen the movie with Emile Hirsch and Justin Timberlake and Ben Foster. But the dog needs to be seen as the pack leader. But how can he be the alpha to his owner? He's not pouring his own food into the bowl. I don't understand. That's the other way. Oh, he's worried the dog won't respect his daughter. Okay. Not to be the guy who saw James Acaster specials and then referenced them, but it reminds me of that James Acaster bit where he's like, I was at the club. Do you guys know what negging is? It's when you subtly insult someone to undermine your self-esteem and get them interested in you. And I don't want to brag, but these girls were negging me all night. The old Reddit switcheroo. +2. Don't +2 me. You just watch the specials. They're good. Okay, anyway. Things got better for a bit until the summer came and they were giving her more hours at work. Enough was enough and I put my foot down, insisting she give him up since she couldn't be bothered to make more time for him. She argued with me for a long time about it, eventually giving in and finding him a new owner. She goes straight to her room after work and refuses to talk to me. My wife is upset but hasn't really picked a side. So am I the asshole for making my daughter give her dog a new home? Edit, 30 hours of work a week is not that much, especially in the summer. Look, she's 16 years old, man. Sorry, you can't see the post. I apologize. It's yes and no. 30 hours a week is not that much, but it's a lot for a sophomore in high school when probably 75% of her friends have just 2 or 3 months off for summer vacation. Like that's pretty. It's pretty serious. I'm not gonna pretend like look, I had the easiest job in the world before we had the baby. Maybe like 6, 7 years ago, I could work 60 hours a week. I'm recording Isaac episodes. It's not hard. I'm not gonna act like 30 hours a week is not a lot though. When you're slinging like hot chicken sandwiches out of the damn grill, and when I was six, I didn't even get my first job until I was 17. I worked 10 hours a week. I had 2 shifts a week. Like 30 hours is a lot, man. Even when I had summer jobs in university, I only worked 35 hours a week. I was like 19, 20. Not in 1920. I know you're going to think it was 1920 because I'm bald, but like I was 19 to 20 years old. But even still, I was like, exhausted on Friday. Anyway, I'm raising my daughter to be a responsible adult. She pays for the things she wants and needs. And if she needs help with money, I provide it for her. It's the summer. She isn't in school. She has no excuse not to spend more time with him. Edit 2. The dog was allowed in the house. I was saying it never went to the bathroom in the house. I did not abuse the dog, and I do not neglect my daughter. I am teaching her to be a responsible adult. Okay, I believe that he believes that he's teaching his daughter to be a responsible adult. At the same time, I think he also, I mean, just to be honest, I don't use this word lightly, and also I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but it seems like you traumatized your daughter by being like a hardline boomer about the idea that like she went back on her word very slightly for justifiable reasons because she got insanely busy as a 16-year-old kid. Who's in the damn 10th grade. Like this is a very common recurring element in Am I the Asshole? And I apologize. I don't want to be sexist, but it's to my own gender, so I can do it. There's a lot of Am I the Asshole posts that are like 25 to 65-year-old men who are like, well, I understand the situation changed in a way that's completely understandable and was not predictable in the first place, but we had a deal, and the male code means that we shook on it, so we have like a rigid set of standards we've already agreed to, and if we don't adhere to it, I'm sorry, but you got to give up your best friend. Like there's no, and it's not an all men thing, but like some people just in general have no ability to compromise or to realize that like a deal that you made in January might not make as much sense in August when the world has changed. But anyway, let's see. Don't downvote assholes. Okay, I'm going to say that that's a mission failed from Reddit here. You're the asshole. You can't have it both ways. Making her take full responsibility for the dog, then forcing her to get rid of him. It's her dog or it's not. And from your own admission, it doesn't sound... I like this post because they used his own objectivism against him. If it's her dog, how can he make her give it up? You can't have your cake and eat it too. That's her dog from now on. You can't create like a states' rights situation and then also put a federal law on top of it when you don't like what the state does. It's intellectually inconsistent. You got to adhere to the terms of your own deal. The alpha stuff is also nonsense. Okay, that's chat told me that as well. She's going to resent you forever for this. Yeah, okay. Absolutely true. In my opinion. What the hell is Am I the Cloaca, by the way? Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole filtered? Am I the butt face? Am I the cloaca? I'm not going to have a look on camera. Like, I know what it is anatomically speaking. I just don't know what it is in the Reddit context. You're the asshole. A teenager who's in school full-time and working 25 to 30 hours a week part-time does not have the bandwidth to care for an animal. Let's look at it mathematically. So school is, let's say, 8 to 2, 5 days a week, but also, I mean, it's not really 8 to 2 because you got to get up at 6:15 to take a shower to then get on the bus and then you get on the bus on the way home, and it's another hour, and then you got 2 hours of homework a night. So she's probably like realistically, she's on the clock from like 7 until 5. So it's 10 hours. It's 50 hours a week of school if you factor in the homework and the travel as well, plus 30 to 35 hours a week of work. I mean, she's at like a 75, 80-hour work week, man. It's getting a little crazy. And I'm like running the numbers. What, there's 168 hours in a week or something like that? So half of that has already gone to school and work. A third of the total is gone due to sleep, realistically. And then you're like, well, she's only got like, 8 minutes a week to take care of the damn dog? And she's 16 years old? It's madness, man. This is the American dream. Okay, anyway, I think this one is just... I like starting with a cut and dry one like this. It makes it a little easier, Usually we save the controversy for 50 minutes in. Okay, and then even the sorting is not right, man. This is why is Reddit so bad? Top post of the week, 2.4 thousand upvotes. Second most popular post, 19 upvotes. Third most popular post, 330 upvotes. Here we go. I only want to see ones 450 plus, okay? Am I the asshole for demanding my fiance stop teaching our kids bad manners? Probably, I mean, I want to say no, but demanding is a very strong word, so I'm not totally sure. Hi, everyone. Using a throwaway. Yeah, we know, okay? This subreddit has been around for 10 years. It's not... everybody expects you to use a throwaway at this point. Nobody expects you to tie it to your default identity in meat space. That's crazy. My fiance Lola and I have been together for 5 years, engaged for a little over a year, and we have twins. Our wedding is in 2 months. Lola usually takes care of feeding the kids in the morning since I work early, so I never noticed this until recently. I took a week vacation from work just to spend time at home with my kids and Lola and started to notice something that bothered me. Lola has been teaching our kids bad table manners and sees nothing wrong with it. I hadn't noticed as they don't eat this type of food for lunch, dinner, or snacks or eat it all the time, so I guess I missed it. Okay, so it's a good preamble. What constitutes bad table manners? I think there's a lot. First off, your kids are 2.5, which is you got bigger fish to fry, I think. Here's bad table manners. Picking your nose at the table. Chewing with your mouth open or making a lot of noise when you're chewing deliberately, basically. Some people get a little crazy and they're I honestly, I can't fathom how small the problems in your life would have to be worried about having your elbows on the table. I don't understand why that's a thing. But can I tell you, by the way, one of the reasons I never joined the school band in high school is in 9th grade, I went on a one-day music retreat where we went to a campsite and played a concert at a nursing home and a concert at the campsite, okay? We ate dinner at the campsite. I'm in the 9th grade. Everybody else, more or less, that's there was they were already part of the school band. I'm eating. I'm enjoying the company of my friends. I have my elbows on the table. Everybody simultaneously breaks into I forget the way that it starts, but it's something, Ryan, if you're able, get your elbows off the table. This is not a livestock table. It's a first-class dining table. Walk your butt. Walk your butt. Walk. And then I was like, what does that mean? And then they're like, oh, you have to get up in front of everybody and spell your name out with your ass. Like you have to go to the front of the room and then spell your name like facing the opposite direction by moving your butt. And I was like, everybody was having a great time. And I was like, are you crazy? I'm not giving up nights and weekends for this shit. This is the most psychotic thing I've ever been a part of in my whole life. It was like the start of Midsummer, man. I was clearly in a different a different culture, and I was fully immersed in it without having any sort of orientation whatsoever. Anyway, so that's why I never joined the band. One of the reasons. Regardless, this morning I was helping make Lola breakfast. I was helping Lola make breakfast. And then I got the kids ready while she brought their food out for them. As they were getting ready to eat, I noticed they didn't have forks or spoons, so I told Lola I would get them. She said there's no need. Okay. Lots of foods you eat with your hands. I watched instead, and she gave the kids tortillas that she ripped into pieces. They were using their bare hands to grab the food using pieces of the tortilla. I asked her what she was doing. We should be giving them utensils, but she seemed shocked that I was concerned and said that's how they always eat it. Yeah. I don't even want to stop reading because I don't understand what's wrong with it. How are you supposed to use a fork or like a spoon or a combination to use a tortilla to I guess you could, but like why? Like could you cut a piece off the tortilla, use the knife to put some filling on top of it and then eat it? Yeah, but why? I don't understand. It's just, I mean, I don't, it just seems like a tortilla is the wrong hill to die on here. This is a very hand-based food. I told her she was teaching them bad manners and making them think it was okay to just grab food with their hands. She told me they do that anyway when they have chips or grapes or tacos or pizza and listed a bunch of other snacks and fast food you eat without utensils. Okay, so my wife owned me. Am I the asshole? When I complained about something idiotic, my wife brought up 17 examples of foods we eat all the time that I don't have a problem with. But those foods, though, are American. Like a burger, dude, a burger. You want me to use a fork and a knife to grab a burger? Are you crazy? It's a burger. A taco? Yeah, that's fork and knife, man. You don't want to touch the tortilla with your bare hands. I pointed out those things are usually made to be eaten quickly or on the road, so utensils aren't needed. This is just an insane goalpost move to me. She said I was being offensive by calling her way of eating gross and saying it was bad manners, but I do think it's gross to see someone grabbing at food with their bare hands like that. On the other hand, eating a hamburger while driving, even though you're still touching the food with your hands, not gross. Even though you probably haven't washed your hands in 2 hours, no big deal. It's only gross when you do it at home right after you've washed your hands in your bathroom sink. She said she grew up eating like that and would always use tortillas to eat things like eggs or meat rice beans, and that it wasn't gross because she always made the kids wash their hands. I ended up giving my kids forks for them to eat. Okay, healthiest relationship spotted. They didn't want to use, which made me even more frustrated with her because now they're used to this. Lola has been really annoyed the rest of the day and wouldn't let me help with lunch, and earlier she was walking around the house speaking to someone, probably her sister, in Spanish about me, and I'm starting to feel a bit annoyed. It's so good, man. He doesn't speak Spanish, because then he would probably know who she's talking to, but she's talking about him. I can relate to that. Usually it's not bad stuff, but sometimes I'll be like, looking at my phone while I'm eating dinner with my in-laws, because I mean, like, I'm on year 10 of this stuff, right? Like, at some point you just gotta tap out and do the doom scroll, and I'll hear like Korean speaking and then Ryan, and then Korean speaking and then Ryan, and then I'm like, but then I know I can pick up enough Korean that I can usually figure out what she's talking about, and then I laugh when the punchline comes in, at least. I don't pretend to know the whole thing, but I'm like, I get the gist of it. Wow, lots of replies quickly. They seem to be mixed so far, but I will add the kids can use utensils and use them on foods like soups, pastas, etc. What is it? It's not like even that the kids are young, so they have to use their hands. I mean, I have a 2-year-old, essentially. She's not quite 2, but she's close enough. But like, she uses her hands to eat pasta sometimes because she's young. But at the same time, I recognize that ideally in the future, she'll use a fork or a spoon. You know, she'll use appropriate utensils just so her hands and face don't get so messy. But like, this is a food that's designed for hand-based consumption. Like, the only thing you gain out of using a fork and a knife or a spoon to do it is that you got more dishes and it's probably going to take you longer to eat. Like, it's just bad. It's not a sensible opinion to have. Yeah, you know, this is a good point. The tortilla is the utensil. It's basically like it's a corn glove. Well, maybe maybe glove is not the way you think of it, but all the dudes' replies are super racist, by the way. Okay, well, let's go take a look at that then. So yeah, you're the asshole. He's probably heavily downvoted if I had to guess. So we probably won't even see them. You're the asshole. It's very common to use a tortilla as the utensil. You're being insensitive to her culture. Not just insensitive, but like, I don't know, like, it just doesn't make any sense. Fundamentally, I'm mostly just like, you're the asshole and I'm confused. Why do you want your kids to use a fork to eat something with a tortilla? It doesn't make any sense. Like, I've actually fully don't understand. I think he's just mad, and he's trying to find a source for his madness, but actually he's just mad. I think he has some built-up resentment, and it bubbled to the surface at the most frictionless possible moment, which was this, where he felt like he had a leg to stand on, but actually doesn't. You're the asshole? Yes. Okay, absolutely. Sure. I'm kind of sad you have kids, yet you know so little about them and how they develop. They are not 10, but 2. All 2-year-olds eat with their hands. Hold on, that didn't scroll down enough for you. Also, like, there's like a simple rule of parenting, I think. If you got like a good routine with your kids, or if your spouse has a good routine with the kids, why fuck it up? Like, it's already, I'm not saying it's the hardest job in the world, but it's like, it's hard enough. Probably took like months to get to the point you got a stable eating routine, and you're like, hey, let me get in here and cause some problems for no reason. Show his replies? I don't want to validate him. Also, I don't know how to do that. That's the main reason. You're the asshole. This is how 2-year-olds eat. You don't need a fork for a tortilla. Very true. It's at the top of the comment section. Elsa voice, I can hear you, but I won't. It is, it's just, I don't want to click on his replies and have him have like a racial slur pop up or something like that. I'll let the downvotes hide it so that I already know I don't like the guy. I don't need to, you ever hear the expression, 'tis better to appear a fool than to open one's mouth and remove all doubt? That's kind of where I'm at with this guy, except replace fool with, I don't know, possibly, I don't know, bad person. You're the asshole. Your casual racism towards your wife is going to affect your kids. Yeah, okay, I mean, okay. I understand why everybody's calling him a little racist. However, I wish more people would also focus on the fact that his argument just doesn't make sense to begin with. I understand why the racism thing is bubbling to the surface, but I wish more people would talk about how it doesn't make sense to eat a tortilla with a fork and a knife to begin with. Maybe he's a germaphobe? Yeah, but he said he doesn't mind eating fast food in his car. Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend to stop meal planning? Oh no. It's edit at the top, man. The whole post is just edits. There's an edit at the top. There's 3 edits at the bottom, and the whole thing is only 2 paragraphs. No, this is a new one. This. I swear to you, this is a new one. It's posted 2 days ago. We did have one similar, but I believe that was the boyfriend was mad because it took 5 minutes to plan their meals for the week, but he's not the kind of person on a Sunday who knows what he wants to eat on a Thursday, because mommy's special little boy gets to pick at 5:45 what he's going to eat at 6 every day of the week, even though he's 28 years old. I remember that one. That one still lives in my brain. That's like somehow you got to be an adult, but you're like, my day is ruined if I don't get to choose what to eat for dinner on the exact like time of dinner every day. Oh, man. Sorry, I had to let the blood pressure come down a little bit. Whew. What about the classic, I let my stepson almost die so that he could learn his lesson? Yes, the most sensible home gym owner who let his stepson think that he was going to die because he didn't want his stepson using his gym. See, that's what could happen to you if you use the gym without my supervision. That's also what could happen to you if you use the gym with my supervision, as demonstrated by my behavior right now. The other one, there's been a lot of classics, like I borrowed $3 from my sister to order pizza and then paid her back before she got home, and she won't talk to me anymore. And I'm like, it's $3, or they paid it back. But then some people were like, it's the principal. That's my property. Explain the pizza one. They needed $3 to tip the pizza delivery guy. Nobody had any cash except there was a little cash in his sister's room. So he took the $3 from his sister's room, then paid her back the next day, and she was like pissed. She would not talk to him because it was a violation of like her privacy for him to take the $3. Okay, Turkish Santa versus Greek Santa was also good. Anyway. All right, am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend to stop meal planning? We'll start with the edit. Edit, please stop commenting that my girlfriend has an eating disorder. She does not. If you do it, I will probably block you. But I'm not 100% confident. It depends on the contents of your message. I don't care if you've had an eating disorder. This is one situation. It's not possible to say someone has an eating disorder over one situation you weren't even there to witness. My dumb assery sent her to a high-intensity practice with no food in her body. I don't know what is going on. It's written like a Johnny Truant passage from House of Leaves. Like, what's happening? We're starting at the damn end. That's not cool, and I'm sure all of you would be upset as well. She is not rigid with her food. She doesn't have time to cook, so meal prepping makes sure she can eat to meet her caloric goals and nutritional needs to stay healthy. Her team meets with a dietitian to make sure they're eating the calories they need to. Well, then why are you telling her to stop meal prepping? I don't understand. She needs to meal prep to get her nutritional needs, but the title is, am I the asshole for getting her to stop meal prepping? I know it sounds bad, but hear me out. My girlfriend Charlotte is really big into fitness. She always played sports as a kid and is now playing volleyball in college. She also goes to the gym 6 days a week. Because of this, she likes to meal prep for the week to make sure she gets her macros. I don't know if you've heard about this stuff. Just a couple hours ago, she went into the fridge and suddenly became very frantic because I'd eaten her overnight oats. I think that's what they are called. I didn't realize they were part of her meal prep. I thought the oatmeal fairy just blessed us and put some food in the fridge that was for me to eat without asking for it. I thought just some benevolent donator came by and put some food in the fridge that was for me because I live here. So blessed. LeBron James Instagram photo. Can't believe this my life. I didn't realize they were a part of her meal prep because she'd never made them before and didn't say anything. What was she thinking? Usually her meal preps are several of the same meal, but there was only one oatmeal container, so I thought it wasn't hers. But like, okay, I think I'm missing some context. Whose was it that, do you have like roommates? If it's not hers, then whose would it be if you didn't make it? Like, you didn't make it, so it's not yours either. I don't understand. Can you just admit, like, what, instead of writing this insane sentence that falls apart under the slightest bit of scrutiny, why not just be like, I'm an adult, I made a mistake and ate her food because it looked good and it was a moment of weakness or whatever? That doesn't make you a bad person. It happens. I don't understand why you like trying to come up with some form of justification that's like, oh, normally when she makes food, there's a lot of it, but there wasn't that much here, so I just ate it even though I didn't make it. It just doesn't make any sense. I'm trying to put myself in this guy's shoes. Like, it's not ingredients, it's food. It's not like there was some strawberries in the fridge and he ate a couple. Like, this is like a meal. You ate a meal out of the fridge. This is the guy that is in your office, so they had to make those bags that have like a mold pattern on them so that it looks like it's a moldy sandwich, but actually the sandwich inside is good. You just had to put some form of deterrence on it so that people didn't steal it from you. Maybe he thought he made it and forgot. Maybe that's the only thing. Hey, did I make these overnight oats? I don't know. Maybe. It doesn't seem like a thing that my fiance would do or my girlfriend, so yeah, it was probably me. Even though I have no memory of doing it, that just doesn't seem like something she would do. This is crazy. She went off about how inconsiderate I was being because she didn't have time to cook in the morning because of her schedule. That seems completely fair. I immediately apologized for eating it, even though, clearly based on this post, he doesn't really see that he did that much wrong. I mean, you think he knows that he did it wrong, but he's like, hey, there's justification for it. Have you considered that the container was not as big as the normal meal prep containers you make, and thus I didn't think it was for you? I thought it was for anybody. It was a first come, first serve situation. I know that it was super crappy, and I genuinely had no idea. I just want to talk to him for a second and be like, what do you mean you had no idea? How did you think the food got in the fridge? I don't understand. Much like this is the last post, but like on steroids, where I'm like, I didn't understand why that guy wanted to use a fork to eat a tortilla. This one, I'm like, I just don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. After apologizing, I said maybe she should stop meal prepping if not getting one of her meals throws her off that much. I'm sorry to say, this is rude. This is some of the dumbest shit I've ever read in my life. You apply this to anything? Oh, if you need insulin so bad, maybe you should stop taking it. What doesn't make any sense? Maybe you should stop meal prepping if me stealing your food makes it so you can't eat your meal. She got angry and said that I wouldn't understand since I don't play a sport. Here's the thing. I don't think it has anything to do with a sport, but I do think that she's right that he wouldn't understand based on the reasoning skills that were on display throughout the rest of the post. Then she left. She usually texts me when she gets to her location safely, but hasn't said anything since our argument. Am I the asshole? She just texted me she wants to talk after practice. She just got home from practice and we talked. She apologized at snapping at me over an accident, but it's like she's not in the wrong like at all. You should always try to be nice to people, but she didn't do anything wrong. It's not an accident. I mean, I'm not naive enough to think that like you could never eat someone's food that they wanted to eat. You know, you get hungry, you're tired, you're like, maybe she forgot about it or something like that. I'm not saying there's any good reasons, but like, and you should just ask in the first place. But then to like be offended that you got called out and thus go, maybe you should stop meal prepping if you need food so bad. Like he should apologize. She just got pissed in the heat of the moment, but asked me not to touch any of her meal prep food without asking, especially before practice, because her foods are important to keeping her physically fit and her energy high. Yeah, no shit. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, why is he typing this? Like, everybody reading this has to know this, right? She said that not keeping to her nutritional goals can cause potential injuries. She said if I want the food she preps, I need to ask her to make me some while she's prepping on Sundays. I feel like I should include this in my post because many people don't read all the comments. Yes, I apologize profusely. I ordered pink-lidded containers on Amazon to make sure this doesn't happen again. It doesn't, what are you talking about? You don't need a new system. If you didn't make the food, you know is not for you to eat without asking at least. Like, what's wrong? The system didn't fail you. You just ate someone else's food. I don't understand why is this a debate? I'm not even, look, I get why you're focusing on the pink stuff, okay? I'm just saying, like, it much like the last one, I'm like, the central problem here is so insane to me that I just don't get it. If you didn't make the food, you don't need a special container. Can't you look into your memory and be like, did I make this paella? If you didn't make the paella, then don't eat the paella. Also, the man's eating like overnight oats at night. They're called overnight oats. I mean, that's only like a minor slice of the problem, but anyway, we're both laughing over it now. She started calling me the oatmeal bandit. I love her. She's so crazy. You're insane. This is the most insane post I've ever read on Am I the Asshole? You stole her food, tried to gaslight the internet into thinking that there was any plausible reason to do it. I don't think it makes you a bad person necessarily. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. He must be so hot. Of course you're the asshole. You knew for sure you hadn't prepared it and it wasn't yours. Instead of saying, my bad, your solution is to tell her to stop meal prepping. What? Just don't eat things you didn't cook. Holy cow. It's like literally what I took 3,000 words to say in like 50 words. Then they go too far and they say other things about how we would steal stuff from the work fridge. I'm not comfortable saying that again, but you're the asshole? I thought it wasn't hers. Did you make it? Then whose did you think it was if not hers? It's so good. I love it. You're the asshole. Did you think the oat fairy prepped the overnight oats? Okay, I'm learning I'm not as clever as I thought I was. I'm glad that for once everybody is like baffled by the fact that this guy is trying to argue like he didn't know it was hers, so he thought it was his. Info, how is the solution for this to stop meal prepping and not for you to just ask before you eat something? Usually info is like how old is the poster? This one is the info is an own. You're the asshole? You knew it wasn't yours? I'd say the reasonable next step is to ask her to label her meals, but asking her to stop entirely? Why? I mean, labeling the meals I think is even too far, but like they're implicitly labeled because he didn't make them. I don't understand. I just don't get it. The label is you didn't make that shit. That's the label. There was only one oatmeal. I will read 25 of these. There's one oatmeal container, so I thought it wasn't hers. What the fuck? You knew it wasn't yours. You're the asshole. Maybe a ghost left it there. I love this, man. Usually her meal preps are several of the same meal, but there was only one container, so I thought it wasn't hers. Whose food did you think you ate and left without a meal instead? And why would that have been okay? Oh, man. That's fun. I'm not saying bullying is fun, but I'm not bullying. I'm simply asking this person questions to figure out how stupid they are. I'm simply using the Socratic method to figure out how stupid they are. It's called a debate. I love the mother-in-law post. The start of this is unparsable. It's incomprehensible.